YLO. What if the odds this is the same code for the coffin? There's blood on the chair. Do you think this was the bed guys? Probably. Come on there, Clover. Get with the situation here. I've only been gone for 40 minutes, even I remember. Moved the sheets and took a look under the bed. There's a lot of space. Sorry, I laid some asphalt earlier and I wanted to just check on it. And also, oh, get to my dog and all that. It's not dry yet. Moved the sheets and took a look under the bed. A lot of space. Somebody could hide down here. Then you could hide other stuff too. Oh? You mean like this body? Yeah, but whoever killed him didn't do that. Why not? Well, let's see. I guess I can think of 4 possibilities. Might have just not noticed the space under the bed. Didn't think of hiding the body. Or didn't have the time to hide it, or what, maybe they didn't want to hide it. Maybe they wanted us to find it to prove a point or something. Music box? Oh, crank that, baby. One of these old music boxes. How about we wind it up? Yo, it's a bop? Why does it sound like that? Is it broken? Pins on the cylinder are shaped all weird. I don't think those are pins. It looks more like someone put something else on top of it. Then we're gonna have to take it apart to figure out what's going on, don't you? Okay, let me take it apart. Lamp? It's a lamp, but it doesn't turn on. I don't think there's anything special about it. About it. Small table. And not a drawer? No. It's a bed. Nothing under the sheets. So it says you. The window? The window? A camcorder. Looks like it's pointed at the door. Well, the power's on. Why would someone want to videotape a door? So we can see the code? No, this is one recording anything. What do you mean? Just sending whatever it sees to something. What does it see? The door. And this son of a gun. The control panel for the electric lock. So we've got to put in a passcode. I don't think it's just about the numbers. There's a hole in the bottom of it right here. Put a key in it first. No dice, doesn't matter where I push on here. It's not working. I don't think the power's on. Thank you, Clover. Earth to Clover. Ding. Only batteries. Cable running from them to a monitor. A chair. A chair. Aw. Where's the door? A bunch of weird buttons on here. Probably switched what you see on the screens. Do you know how to work this thing? Why don't we just press one of these? Like this one. 0. I guess it does change the... What the heck is this? Isn't that the door on the screen that was right behind us? You're right. So whatever the camera sees is sent to the screen in real time. Wonder if that means something you know? Huh. Junpei snorted with a grim humor for the second time since he come into the room. The 4 screens along the bottom had a single letter each, spelling out.
Huh. It's like he's making fun of us. What do you think?
Turned to Clover, who was standing next to him.
Nothing.
Clover nodded. Zoomers. It seemed that she cared about little. Of course, Junpei could hardly blame her. Given the strain that she was surely under, Junpei was somewhat surprised she had responded at all. Still had to ask. Gestured toward the corpse.
What about him? Do you think that's really 0?
Clover shook her head weakly.
That's him. Didn't I tell you already? 0 is one of us.
Yeah. Right.
I know it's important to figure out who this guy is, but don't you think we should figure out how to get out of here first?
But...
Please, I don't want to waste any more time.
Clover looked miserable, as if she could start crying at any moment. Junpei didn't have the heart to tell her no. Was his mind playing tricks on him? Junpei wondered. For a moment, he could have sworn he'd seen Clover smile. Dunka, 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 dunka. E, Z, R, O. Nothing on this monitor? That's just not true. There's text there, just static. That's not static. That's clearly is text. That is text. Busting out the old magnifying glass. Not gonna happen. Sorry. Put your back. Nothing. Okay, sorry. I'm just deal with this. Some kind of code. 4 rows of numbers and letters. I'll start with 0 and end with A, F, N, or V, respectively. Maybe this is something to do with number bases? A numerical system chart found in the captain's quarters. 10 is a base 10, is written as A in hexadecimal. Therefore, 11 is B, 12 is C, 13 is D, 14 is E, and so on. Charts show the rules for each numeral system. Yes, so like 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and so on and so forth. But what happens when you get past 26? This still goes, right? And that's it. And that's it. Share. Just be lonely. Old telegraph machine? Nothing suspicious here. Nothing suspicious here. Old telegraph machine? I'll be honest, I have no idea how it works. Screwdriver ought to make short work of this music box. Cylinder. Cylinder for the music box. There is a number of pins and some pieces of metal that look rather like fans attached to it. Blow a hole through it, son of a gun? Ink? Guess I'll put the ink in the cylinder. Burn the cylinder, now chew it. Yes, I see, you put ink in the cylinder. Yeah, if I've rolled across a piece of paper, the pins and the fans will leave marks on it, right? Pins will make dots and the fans will leave lines. Alright, then, show us. Do you have paper? You took the time to write... have everybody take a piece of paper out of a notebook. No? You don't? But the drawer is the only thing that's locked. I don't see a keyhole, though. An electric lock, perhaps? Take a look at the left side of the drawer. Some cables over there? That must mean. Found the paper. Nothing written on it. Roll the cylinder across a piece of paper. And if I'm right, the ink should. Dot 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 dash dash. Dot 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 dot. Dash dot 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 dash. Dash dash dot dot. Just as you suspected, right? And you have a pattern of dots and lines on the paper. I imagine it's Morse code. Is dot 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 dot, is that Z? I mean, isn't dash 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 like A? Maybe I'm wrong. What are you doing? We have to Morse code the message. Certainly know what to do next. Early telecommunications device. Most likely used to transmit a radio signal of some sort. I experimented with it earlier, but to no avail. Imagine it's broken. Look, a hook. It wasn't a joke. I know, man. What are you doing? Search the wheelhouse from top to bottom. No reason to go back. In fact, don't you think it would be wise to investigate the captain's quarters? I think we ought to check out both rooms, don't you? Clock mounted on the wall. Hands are moving. A little surprised that the time is wrong then, I suppose. There's nothing on the back. Hayes, look. It's a monkey with glasses. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Hayes, look. It's a model of the steam train. How on earth did you arrive at that conclusion? Armalite. Alright, I got the Morse code I'm supposed to enter. If I do this right, something will happen. I hope. Alright, let's give it a shot. Please drink your Ovaltine. It's the last one, and yes. Excellent work, Junpei, good job. Seem to have figured it out. You unlocked the drawer. A red file lay in the drawer. Junpei reached down and picked it up.
Looks like there's something on the cover. A-L-L
Oops.
I-C-E.
All ice.
Isn't it supposed to say all ice? This doesn't have a space between the L and the I. Are they saying that A-L-L-I-C-E is a single word?
It was an interesting thought, but it left Junpei's mind quickly as he opened the file. What lay inside was far more interesting, and far more confusing. Oh no, June was right. Each page was covered with strange characters. They both looked like tiny drawings of birds, snakes, insects, horned animals, horny animals, wings, and even healing humans. There were many pages in the file, and each was full of these strange symbols.
This.
What the heck is going on? What the heck? Is this for real? He didn't realize he'd spoken out loud until Ace looked out over at him.
A form of writing
Yes.
used in ancient Egypt.
Leonardo. Well, what do you suppose would be a great way to write down our thoughts? Oh, let's add a bird.
Ancient Egypt.
That's right.
And draw me a cat on their hind
Can you
legs.
read them?
Brilliant.
Of course. I can't. What would make you think I could?
What the hell?
Junpei flipped through the few more pages. Wasn't just one or two pages that were covered in the strange symbols. Every single page was covered in them.
Things like that.
Trying to read them was pointless. Junpei wasn't going to waste any more time with them. He made to close the file,
Huh?
and something fell out.
What's this?
Bent down and picked it up.
A key card.
Bottom deck library. It's me IRL. Symbol on it that reminded Junpei of the symbol of the Saturn and Mercury keycards. This one, however, had a dot in the center of the male symbol.
That's the Uranus symbol.
Junpei looked over to see Ace examining the card. In addition to the Uranus symbol, there were 3 words engraved on the card as well.
Bottom. Bottom deck library. This must be the key to the library then. Is the bottom deck a library? Anyway, whatever. It's gonna have to wait. I can't do anything right now.
He gripped the keycard tighter and shoved it deep into his pocket. The material has been added to the file screen. Alice. Take the key. And then the red file. Unique key. Key. It isn't. 1 sec. It was a metal. My guess would be ceramic. Junpei, have you found a keyhole that might fit? Yes. Control panel for the electric lock. Like it's got a keyhole in the bottom right. Maybe the key I got earlier. Sweet, just had to put the key in and now it's on. Junpei, look. There's a minus sign on the screen. There's 8 of them. Probably means we got to put in the 8 digits. Do you think you can figure it out? We're spelling 0. So... So 0 would be 36. E is 14. 0. Just give me the numbers. Doesn't go to Z though. Am I insane? What if I think I'm wrong about this? You should just do it, right? So am I doing this backwards? Or it'll probably go over to the right, right? It worked. Good job. You move? Excellent, you seem to have unlocked it. Good work, Junpei. Alright, let's go. You found it. They stepped out of the captain's quarters and into another hallway. The hallway stretched out in front of Junpei for a bit before turning left like a great
All right,
backward L.
let's go.
Junpei rounded the corner and took off down the straightaway. He ran and ran and ran. At the end of the hallway was a door.
Wait,
Headed straight for
piece
it.
of paper.
He was nearly halfway to it when he noticed a piece of paper in the middle of the floor. Junpei skidded to a halt. Dropped down to his hands and knees and quickly tore the paper off the floor.
Map of the ship's interior for ADEC.
What's wrong?
Ace, slightly slower by virtue of his advanced age, had finally caught up to Junpei.
I found a map for this floor.
Showed Ace what he snatched from the wall. Looked at it long enough to determine what it was and nodded. With that, he began running again past
Well,
Junpei.
that was anticlimactic. I should keep this though.
Junpei shoved the map into his pocket and got to follow Ace, but something
Where's
stopped him.
Clover?
Turn around. Clover was nowhere to be
What
seen.
the hell is she up to?
Junpei muttered angrily under his breath, took off back the way he came. As he stomped around the corner, he saw her, standing in front of the door to the captain's quarters,
Clover!
hand on the doorknob.
Huh?
Junpei watched her close it gently and quietly.
What the hell are you doing?
Nothing.
What do you mean, nothing?
Clover has unconsciously put her hands over the pockets of her jacket as
What the
if
hell
trying to
is
hide
that?
something.
What?
You've got something in your pocket.
Oh, this? This is... I wonder...
What the hell?
Come on, we gotta hurry.
In fact, Clover ran straight past us as a somewhat confused Junpei. As she did, he caught a glimpse of her back.
Clover, what's that on your back?
Sticking up from her collar was something that looked like a big wooden stick.
Hey, Clover! What the hell's
The
that
hatchet?
thing on your back?
Didn't respond. Instead, she quickly turned the corner and disappeared.
Is she ignoring me? Ah, for crying out loud.
Did she take that dude's hands? Junpei did his best to convince himself that it would make sense later and ran off after Clover. Junpei pushed through the door and found himself in a large room with a large set of stairs.
Huh. So this is where it ends up. Just like it says on the map.
Just what he expected to see after reading the map. His "I see" after reading the map himself meant that Ace had probably realized the same
Ace?
thing.
Did he head down?
Put his head on the handrail and leaned over to look
Oh.
down.
There he is.
Look, the 4 others are there too.
Not just Ace, Santa, June, Seven, and Lotus as well.
Let's join them.
Junpei and Clover glanced at each other and hurried down the stairs. They reached B deck at the same time.
Jackie, Clover!
June's face was excited. Something had happened, that much Junpei could tell by
What's
simply
up?
looking at her. Given the situation, he was not inclined to be excited about sudden developments. June, however,
We
couldn't
found
contain
it.
herself.
Found what?
We found it!
What did you find?
The last door! We found door 9!
What?
Come on! Just follow us. We'll explain on the way.
Okay.
There's 2 doors, I know. Seven turned and jogged off down the
That's
stairs.
the case.
Wait for me.
We should get going as well.
Royce followed,
Jackie, we finally made it!
relief and excitement in her voice echoed what each one of them felt.
It's finally time.
Junpei wasn't quite ready to believe they'd really done it. It's not yet. Still, if everyone said that it was door 9, then it probably was. He could feel his heart racing. A mixture of anticipation and fear ran through his veins as he could feel his legs shaking. He was doing his best to maintain a sense of healthy skepticism, but he couldn't deny that the prospect of escape was an exciting one.
But something's bothering me. Only 3 to 5 people can go through the numbered door. 7 of us are on our way to door 9. That means that, best case scenario, there will be 2 of us who have to stay behind. 2 people. Is there a way?
Junpei looked over at the clock.
30. We've only got 90 minutes left. I've got no time to wonder about it now.
Hey, Junpei! June! What the hell are you two doing? Hurry it up!
Something's voice jolted Junpei out of the rear.
Let's go, Jumpy!
June took off down the stairs, jogging as quickly as she could. Junpei followed. They were quiet for a while until C deck. They had just reached C deck, but Clover spoke.
What about door 2?
Everyone else stopped. They all turned to look at Clover.
What about door
Seven
two?
spoke.
Door 2 is the only one we haven't gone through it, I mean.
Yes, that is true.
Are you guys okay with that? Not investigating it, I mean?
So what? We found door 9. We don't need any of the other doors.
What's the point? Huh? What's the point in going to door 9? We can't all go through it, right? And we should do what we have to do before we go any further. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. The best way to finish it quickly is to do the border pieces first.
Huh.
Or what? You think all 7 of us should go to door 9? And then we argue over who stays behind and who gets to go? Do we really want to do that again?
Why did you say it with such a shift in your tone? Like you sound like it was a different microphone.
Who knows? If we check out door 2, maybe we'll find something. Maybe
I thought you wanted an excuse to use the axe.
all of us out. Huh. I don't know what might be in there. We may not find anything. But don't you think it'd be better to at least have a look? I mean, am I wrong?
It's like, I spent all this time in Rune 2, my personal favorite.
Yeah,
Huh.
you do have a point.
Others
Last time
nodded
I
in
checked the
agreement.
clock, it was 4:30. It's not like we've got a lot of time, but if we're quick about it, we might have time to take a look.
You're right. Let's go take a look at door 2.
You have to do it again? I'll do it again. They were back in front of the elevator. Nearby was
The
a large
elevator can
hospital
take
room.
us down to door 2.
Who shall go then?
Let's see.
Me. I'm going.
Then June, 7, and 9 need to go with her.
4 plus 3 plus 6 plus 7 equals 20. 2 plus
Hey, why
0
don't you
equals
get
2.
I don't mind. We'd only waste time arguing over it.
Jumpy, I'm okay too.
See?
Can we just go now?
Fine.
All right, let's get going.
I'll see you later.
Okay. Be careful.
Climbed into the elevator and Junpei listened to a creak and rattle his way down to the bottom. Only Junpei, Ace, and Lotus were left. As the elevator rumbled out of sight, Ace spoke.
Lotus, would you be so kind as to go with me?
Go with you? Well, I didn't think people still talked that way outside of the 1950s. Well, I'm a mother. Would that be a problem for you?
That wasn't what I meant to... I was hoping you would come with me.
Seriously, though, I was kidding. So, where was it you wanted to take me?
There's something I wanted to show you.
Hey man, what the hell? I'm not important enough?
Well, it's not like that. Once I've shown Lotus, I'll show you.
Really?
Of course.
Ace's smile was
Do
friendly.
whatever you want.
Thanks, Junpei. Are you coming, Lotus?
Fine. Doesn't look like they're going to be back anytime soon. I might as well go and see whatever it is you think is so important.
Thank you. Well then, shall we go?
Ace turned and began to walk. Lotus followed. Disappeared into the hallway on the left. Time seemed to drag on as Junpei waited for the others to
They're so
return.
slow. And what's keeping Ace and Lotus?
Suddenly the elevator opened. Single person stood there.
I guess you're the first one back.
There was only Clover inside. He didn't see the rest. Clover, with the Junpei, then slowly, purposely stepped out of the elevator. The door closed behind her.
Where's everybody else? What happened?
She didn't answer. Her eyes swept the room and then settled on
Ace
Junpei.
and Lotus.
Oh, Ace said he wanted to show Lotus something, so they went into that hallway.
Junpei explained what had happened.
Oh, then they went over there?
Voice was small and timid. He repeated
So
her
where are
earlier
June,
question.
Santa, and Seven?
His earlier
Why
question.
aren't they with you?
You really want to know?
Something wrong with her smile.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Here, let me show you.
Clover pulled something out of her pocket and tossed it onto the floor at Junpei's feet.
Huh?
Looked down. On the floor in front of him were 3 metal rings.
Oh my god. Oh, holy shit.
Junpei collapsed.
No way, no way. This has got to be some kind of joke. This can't be real.
Junpei's body felt like rubber. His heart felt like a cold lump in his chest and his hands shook uncontrollably. Sweat poured down his face. The 3 bracelets sat there on the floor beneath them, before him. The numbers on their faces.
7,
And
6.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only 2 ways to do so.
no, they got out. Let's go.
You escape from this ship. 2, Lord Hartley reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confine of the ship, or the backside of the mirror's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
But why?
Junpei's voice was flat and broken. Clover's response was cold.
For my brother. He was forced into door 3 and murdered. You need at least 3 people to open a door. Who were the 2 that opened that door with him? It could only have been Santa and 7. That's why I killed them.
2 plus 3 plus 7 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3.
Why did you
But why?
kill June?
Because she tried to protect them. She was in my way. She had to die too.
Oh. No.
Junpei shook his head, trying desperately to wake himself from what had been a dream. Had to be a dream. Couldn't be real, it just couldn't.
Junpei,
Clover's hand on his shoulder. Smile was wrong, horribly wrong. Her face looked like a mask made from stretched human skin. The smile that parted her lips did not extend to her eyes. They were dead and empty. The girl in front of him was no longer the Clover he had known. Perhaps she was not even human. Hand reached out towards him.
let's leave this ship.
What the hell are you talking about? To open a numbered door,
Yes, I know. You need at least 3 people. But as long as we have this,
Clover reached into her pocket and pulled something out. There was another bracelet. Jimmy could see the number in the face. 0.
bracelet.
0.
You've got something in your pocket. What is it?
oh, this? See? You get it now? If we have the 0 bracelet, we can leave. You and I can open door 9 with just the 2 of us.
4 plus 5 plus 0 equals 9.
So let's go. Come on. Hurry up.
She shoved out her hand again. Jimmy looked up at Clover. She had the face of a demon. But there was something else. There was a holy light that surrounded her. She was both a fierce god and a benevolent goddess, filled with love. Her voice was soft. Her eyes weren't empty anymore. They were deep, so deep Junpei could feel himself falling into them. He felt dizzy. Something oddly bewitching about her. His mind was beginning to crack and his heart began to melt. The hand she was offering him looked so soft, so inviting. Junpei reached out of his own trembling hand and closed it over hers. Junpei writhed in agony, shuddered and twitched, his body spasming as he went into shock. He screamed until his throat was torn and bloody. screamed more. His cries echoed across the room. Eventually, his movements slowed and faded. There was no more strength left in Junpei. He could feel his body begin to go numb. He no longer felt pain. He no longer felt anything. Whatever Junpei had been was gone. Last remnants of his mind began to fade. Even as his vision faded into nothingness, he saw Clover.
Thanks, Junpei. I'm just gonna borrow this, okay?
Her smile was cold. What was left of Junpei's conscious mind drifted away. All that was left was his twisted, broken corpse. Bud. Bud. Let me ask you a question. Yeah, that's so clever. Now, why are they different colors? Am I insane? Is it that I do have the key now for these? Why are these clear? Well, like I said, we're gonna go to the left-hand side here. We're gonna go to door 3. The double zoom.
I want to go through door number 3.
Nope, you can't.
Huh? Why?
Because it's impossible. If we split ourselves into 3 and 3, then we'd give up on going through door 3.
Why?
The bracelet numbers for the 6 of us are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are 2 combinations that can go through door 3 with 3 people. 3, 4, 5, or 6, 7, 8. That's it. Of course, 2 teams can't go through the same door.
I see. That means one team would get left behind.
That's right.
That doesn't happen if we go through door 7 or 8?
No, they're fine. We've got 3 options.
Had to begin to explain.
Option A, have 3, 5, and 8 go through door 7, and 4, 6, 7 go through door 8. Option B, 4, 5, and 7 go through 7, and 3, 6, and 8 go through 8. Option C, 3, 6, and 7 go through 7, and 4, 5, and 8 get 8. Those are the only 3 options. At least if we want to get all 6 of us out of here.
Wait.
That was when Junpei realized. Plan A divides into 2 teams. 378 and 467. Plan B divides into 2 teams. 457 and 368. Plan C divides into 2 teams. 367 and 458. There was one thing they all had in common.
Can never be on the same team. If we want all 6 of us to go through a door, then June and I can't go into the same one.
That's just on your mind, brother? June and Junpei would have been friends when they were kids. Trusted her more than anyone else in the ship. To 7 or 8, he'd be taken away from her. Something he was prepared to do.
Have you mulled it over enough, or do you need more time? Anyway, that's the deal, so think it over. You've got 2 choices. 7, you can't choose 3. If you choose 3, you're gonna be leaving 3 people behind to die. So what are you gonna do? 7 or 8? Time to choose.
Junpei thought hard. After thinking it over, his conclusion was,
Sorry, Santa, but I still want to go through door 3.
What? That's nuts! You've gotta be crazy! Why the hell are you so obsessed with that door?
I'm just...
Junpei paused, swallowing the words he'd been about to say.
about door 3. That's all.
That doesn't explain shit!
I've got a reason. I'd be happy to explain it to you if you'll just come with me.
Maddie began walking towards the door. Their curiosity getting the better of them, the others followed. A few of them looked a little suspicious, but Junpei told himself that wouldn't matter. Kept walking, kept silent. Eventually, they arrived at the number 3 door.
I'm
Junpei
curious about
stopped.
the red. 7, would you mind authenticating for me?
Why?
Please, just do it.
Stared at Junpei for a moment, then grunted and laid his palm heavily on the scanner.
Happy?
Yeah, thanks. The number 7 has been entered into the red. Next is June. Please touch the red just like 7 did.
Jumpy, what are you trying to figure out?
Yep. I think...
Junpei thought about this answer for a moment.
Another way out.
What?
Really?
I got them excited, as Junpei had
Please,
intended.
June?
Oh, okay.
7 plus 6 equals 13. 1 plus 3 equals 4. Those are numbers in red. Junpei had what he wanted. He placed his own hand on the scanner, and the third asterisk blinked on. 4 plus 5 equals
The
9.
people who haven't authenticated now are Santa, Clover, and Lotus.
So, what's your point?
You don't get it. Think about it.
Huh?
What's the sum of your number and Clover's?
12.
And what's the digital root of that?
3.
Which is Santa's number. By the way, Lotus, what's the number that's currently in the red?
7 plus 6 plus 5 equals 18. It would be 9, right?
Yes, and what will the digital root be if you add 3 to that?
3. The door's number.
There you go.
Hey, wait a minute. What the hell are you up to?
I'm not up to anything. I'm just waiting.
Waiting for what?
I'm waiting for the balance to shift. Santa, or Lotus and Clover. Once one of you moves, the others won't have a choice. So I'm waiting.
Junpei laid out his hand almost casually at the lever.
Son of a bitch! You tricked us! And all that stuff you were going on about is all bullshit!
Bullshit, huh? I don't think so. Didn't I tell you I'd figured out another way to get out of here? This is it.
Why the hell would you do something like this?
Junpei glanced at June.
Jumpy.
You did this just so you could go through the same door as June. That's it?
And that was furious. His face was red, and flecks of spit flew from his lips as he spoke. Junpei closed his eyes calmly and then
So,
opened them again.
Who's it going to be? Santa, or Lotus and Clover?
Shit!
Let's go, Clover.
Lotus leapt forward, grabbed Clover by the sleeve, and ran for Junpei in the door. Caught by surprise, Santa froze for a moment, then shot forward like a bull from a gun. Lotus had a head start, but Santa had the advantage in size and speed. Almost immediately, he passed Lotus and Clover. Santa did not hesitate. Then his head down on the red. Hand down on the red.
Insane! This isn't right!
Ordered Junpei, and his chest heaving.
You may be right.
His voice was cold, but not without effort. Turned to the red and pulled the lever. Turned the metal on metal, and the door opened. It would only remain for 9 seconds. There was no time to think. Junpei and his 3 reluctant companions jumped into the doors gaping mouth, one after another. No sooner than did they enter the all too familiar noise sounded from their left wrists. The natives have activated. Junpei looked back only once and saw Lotus and Clover and then started the closing door.
No.
Stood still, stopped where they had been when Santa reached the red. The defeat and desperation of their faces tore at Junpei's heart, and the door closed and they were gone.
You son of a bitch, Junpei! This isn't fair!
And around at Junpei, lightning crackling in his eyes and
You
knuckles
realize
white.
what you just did? You leave them out there, and they can't...
Shut it! That's enough!
Hadn't been Junpei that spoke, but 7.
None of this is gonna matter.
Clock was ticking. Dead was their only chance of survival. Unless they could find it and deactivate their detonators,
We got
4
less
of them
than a
would
minute
be
left. No time for screwing around. Get moving.
Damn it! You and I are not done yet, bastard!
scattered and began to scour the room. The deactivation device was nowhere to be
Where the
found.
hell is it?
Corridors stretched out in 3 directions, but every one was blocked off by a wall of metal. Only one way out, and
Over there.
one other door.
It's gotta be behind the door.
7 ran for the door and a rusty iron thing. Large hands grabbed a hold of the handle and pulled.
Damn, it's pitch dark inside.
Can't see a thing.
Junpei stuck his hand through the door and looked around the room. Almost immediately, he spotted the blinking red light on the right wall.
The dead's right over here.
Stepped in the room.
Ugh. What? The floor's slippery.
Stopped and glanced down at his feet.
Hey, what
He
the hell are
was-
you doing?
There's something.
Get over there.
Junpei felt 7's heavy hand against his back and stumbled across the room. Other 3 piled in behind him. They all felt immediately that something was wrong. Nothing that could be easily identified, only a sense that something terrible shared the room with them. But there was no time to say so.
Get to the dead.
They all started running. In the dark, it was hard to tell where the wall was. All they could see was a tiny red light blinking at them over and over and over.
There it is.
Quick succession, they all slammed their hands against the scanner panel. Punt, punt, punt. Seven leaned against the wall, gulping air. As his breathing began to return normal, he glanced at his left wrist and grunted.
It stopped. It stopped.
Junpei could hear him laughing in the dark, but could barely make out the large man's
I don't
face.
think I'll ever get used to doing this.
What the?
Sound of retching came from Senta's direction.
What the hell is this smell? This is vile. I'm gonna puke.
Desperate had they been in their race to the dead, that no one had noticed the horrible smell that pervaded the room. It was a terrible, nauseating stench that burnt and rotten meat. Adrenaline had drowned it out, but now it rolled over Junpei in waves, forcing itself into its nose with every breath he took.
Right. This is...
Felt his stomach clench and the bile rise up in his
Let's
throat.
get the lights on first.
I don't get it. So they walk through the door, right? The door closes. Oh, never mind, he was pushed in and ran around. I just assumed it was the door. That door is the 3 door that they went through. I don't know why.
There's a switch over here.
Lights that spilled in from the door barely illuminated a small switch plate next to the door. Slowly, with the toil of the last few minutes apparent in his gait, Seven walked towards it. Stopped as he got close and extended his fingers towards the
Flipping
switch.
it on.
There was a soft click as the lights came on. As the light turned on, June took a short breath and... a scream echoed through the room. Junpei's breath stopped in his throat. His heart ceased to beat. Time froze. His mind scrambled to make sense of what he saw before him.
Hey. Oh, this is...
What was left of the body sat in the sea of blood. Chunks of flesh torn from the body sat in the blood like tiny islands in the great Red Sea. A vast, ragged hole had been torn in the torso, and what remained of his intestines spilled out of it like fresh spaghetti. Smaller chunks of meat had splattered against the wall and became stuck there as they dried. Globbles of yellowish fat had left trails like the tiny slugs as gravity pulled them down the wall, even as they dried
Looks like
to
an
it.
explosion.
Seven's voice was low and strained.
Knife man. The detonator in his bracelet set off the bomb in his gut.
Oh god. The bone is coming out of his left arm.
It's definitely an open fracture.
Looked as though the explosion had been quite powerful. Legs were both bent in an odd, unnatural way, and his left arm had split open, exposing his painfully white bone of his ulna. The bracelet lay next to him. It knew to have hit the wall hard enough to have shattered the display, which lay on the ground in pieces.
Yeah, can't even tell who it is.
Half of his head was simply collapsed. Bloody coating almost made it look like the raw pizza dough covered in tomato sauce. Clothes, too, were covered in blood. The burgundy tie, the white shirt, the jacket with the yellow piping, and the gray slacks.
Clothes are...
All familiar to Junpei.
Snake?
Santa's voice wavered as he spoke, his
Oh
mouth
my
dry.
god.
Finally, Junpei
Why
spoke.
did this happen?
Suddenly, June was screaming, her voice broken. It was an eerie scream full of insanity, not entirely human. Shook her head violently and grabbed fistfuls of her own hair. Junpei could hear the sound of her hair tearing.
Calm down.
Grabbed her for her wrist.
Hey!
But as he did, June leapt up and ran towards the exit.
Please! Get me out of here! You have to let me out of here!
She screamed at the door, and her fist slammed against it in a hollow sound. Junpei could see drops of blood on her knuckles.
Why are you doing these horrible things to us? What did we do to deserve this?
June.
She screamed again, a desperate, mindless cry. Her fist flailed up against the door.
Get me out of here! Please! Please! Just let me out!
June.
Junpei couldn't watch anymore. He ran up to June and wrapped his arms around her, pulling the screaming girl away from the door.
Calm down.
No! Get off of me! Let me go! Let me go!
Please, calm down.
Scrambled for a moment, her legs skittering across the floor, but her resistance didn't last long. Suddenly, as her outburst had begun, it was over. Manic energy disappeared, and her body went limp in Junpei's arms. June collapsed towards the floor, and Junpei knelt down with her. Phil dropped at something warm and wet. Was she crying? A moment later, she began to sob. Shoulders shook and great hot tears rolled down her face like rain.
Fine. It's gonna be alright, June. It's going to be okay.
Her name was a whisper.
Okay?
Thank you.
She nodded once.
Thank you so much, Jumpy.
Trembling voice pulled at Junpei's heart, stroked her hair gently. His face was so close to her. The scent of her hair was nostalgic.
Yes, but I'd like to stay here. For a little while, at least. Jumpy's body is so warm.
Several minutes passed before June's tears had dried. June stood up. Junpei stood up. He bent down, put his arm under June, and helped her to her feet. Didn't speak. Neither did Seven or Santa. The person was dead. They had died in that room in a terrible way. Junpei knew there was no way he could make himself forget that. There was no way any of them could forget it, but mourning would do no good. They spread out to search the room, but each felt as if their heart was made of
Better
lead.
get to it.
This is this path? Okay. So I guess once we get here, we can just say frick it and go back, right? Letters written in blood. LLR, do you think that might be some sort of dying message from Snake? It's possible. You saw the blood, you saw the body, you ain't doing anything after something like that happens to you. And this? This is where the blood's dry tells you it's real old. Whoever's blooded this is, they ain't Snake's. Saying this blood was put here a long time ago? Yeah. Left, right? That's where we came in. It's not locked, but there ain't really any point. All that's out there is a numbered door. Can't go back through the numbered door even if we wanted to. Chunks of pinkish meat are splattered across the floor. Snake, why did this happen to you? Dang, I just can't. Divider between the stalls? On the side of this wall? No, I don't want to think about that. Starts putting Snake into a bucket. Tin bucket. Hey, Jumpy, do you think clean it up and they're all give us you with a sponge and a bucket like this? Hey, come on now, can't we just leave the past in the past? Or what the frick's the log button? What the frick is the log button, man? The log button. What is the log button? Okay, that's fine. How could I have it? There's no log button. Thick pipe stretches out of the floor. Junpei reached for the broom, and as he grabbed it, he heard a soft voice from behind him. It was June.
Huh?
Turned around. June still looked sadly pale, but there was a smile on her face.
Reminded me of it. The rabbit hutch, I mean.
How did I remind you of something like that?
Jumpy and the broom. You're always playing around with the broom in front of the rabbit hutch.
I was.
Don't you remember?
Junpei stared at the bottom of the broom in his hand.
You don't remember that summer either?
Looked very sad.
Of
Shook his
course
head.
I remember. How could I forget something like that? It was terrible.
They were in the 6th grade. Junpei and June had been assigned to take care of the classroom pets full of rabbits. Chief duty was to clean the hutches every morning. On the final day of school, before summer vacation began, Junpei overslept. Rushed to school and found June standing in front of the rabbit hutches. No sooner had Junpei arrived than June began to cry. He had no idea why until he looked behind her into the rabbit hutch. The first thing he saw was blood. The hutch was filled with the dead bodies of the rabbits. Even after their teachers and friends came to see what the commotion was, June couldn't stop
I
crying.
just kept crying and crying until you came over. You held my hand, and you looked very serious, and you said, "Don't cry. I'm gonna catch the person who did this."
I don't think you did.
After you told me that, I finally stopped crying.
Well, the real fun started after you quit crying. You told me we were gonna catch the killer together.
June smiled, and a little of the flush of her life
Then we
returned to her
decided that
cheeks.
we'd ambush them.
Yeah, I remember.
And do what? School had also kept roosters and guinea pigs. Junpei and June had decided the murderer would likely return to finish off the rest of the animals. They would ambush the killer at night. Junpei and June hid behind the hutch at dusk and waited. It was a warm summer night. Quiet sound of crickets whispered through the air. As the sun went down, the stars began to wink at them from the sky. And June's, Akane Kuroshiki's face. The night was something Junpei knew he would never forget as long as he lived.
The murderer never showed up. We waited for them all summer vacation, and they never showed up.
Great promise there, Junpei.
Yeah, but the animals didn't get attacked either. I think all that work amounted to something, you know?
Felt the same way, but it was
Although,
good to
you
hear
know,
her say it.
If you think about it, we were probably taking on a lot more than we could handle.
What do you mean?
Oh,
With that bit, I'm
come on.
confused.
We were just kids. If whoever killed the rabbits had actually showed up, they probably would have had a knife or something. I mean, you must have been pretty worried, right?
I wasn't worried because you were there with me.
She blushed
Yeah,
furiously.
but no one else wanted to take care of the animals.
Clearly embarrassed, she tried desperately
I
to
was the
change
only
the
one who
subject.
asked to do it at first.
Yeah, well, boys don't really want to bother with taking care of animals, you know?
Well, yeah, but you asked to do it after I did, didn't you?
If it wasn't the rabbits, they were going to make me do something else. You know how that school was. I figured it'd be better if I was working with somebody who wasn't too much of a loudmouth, right? Somebody who wasn't going to tell on me if I felt like blowing it off.
Really? That's why you volunteered?
Yeah, it is.
He nodded quickly, as much as too earnestly, and then quickly looked away at something very important.
Of course.
That had been the reason, of course. He had asked to take care of the rabbits so that he could be near June. But it had been so long ago, he couldn't bring himself to tell her how he'd felt back then. It would be embarrassing. Took a quick breath to clear his head, tossed the broom up, and then snatched it out of the
we
air.
don't really have time to be walking down memory lane like this, you know? We've got to figure out a way out of this room. Otherwise...
Yes. I'm gonna look over there.
June nodded curtly,
I should
then
go
turned
back
and
to
walked
it
away.
myself. Ah, that's right. The pool of blood.
Junpei turned around and looked at the room. A snake's body. Chunks of flesh and organs still lay on the floor.
On and on about old times right next to a corpse? What were we doing? Well, maybe it was because we're in this mess.
Despite such a situation, or perhaps because of it, the mind turned to the farthest thing from death that it could find. Little Junpei couldn't help but feel a twinge of guilt, wanting so desperately to live where when Snake
I
lay
have to
dead
survive,
before him.
No matter the cost, I need to make sure she gets out too.
He stared at the clumps of blackened flesh, and all Junpei could think of was how much he wanted to live. No, back to, What are you doing with that broom? Look at it real close. See, it's got the lines cut and it kind of spiral up the shaft. A teepee? Teepee? What if I wrap the toilet paper around the broom? Let's wrap the toilet paper around the broom, huh? Looks like the symbols line up perfectly. 634 plus blank. Before we do any more, I will be right back.